Okay, we're going to try to read a story again. Little man's having a bit of a rough afternoon. Okay, we're going to read Curious George and the Puppies. Your name means dog. Yeah. And what's super cool is on the Chinese calendar, it's the year of the dog. We did not do that on purpose. Just a coincidence. Curious George and the Puppies. Margaret and H.A. Ray. This is George. George was a good little monkey and always very curious. One day George went for a walk with his friend, the man with the yellow hat. When they sat down to rest, they noticed a tiny kitten peeking out from under a bush. The kitten looked frightened. Perhaps she is lost, said the man with the yellow hat. Together, he and George searched the park for the little kitten's owner, but the kitten was all alone. This kitten is too young to be on her own, the man said. We should take her to the animal shelter where they can care for her and find her a home. You would hope. So George and the kitten and the man with the yellow hat drove to the animal shelter. The director of the animal shelter was glad to see them. It was good of you to bring the kitten here, she said. We will be happy to take care of her. George gave the kitten to the director, and then he and the man with the yellow hat walked inside. Come in, the director said, but watch your step. We have a large litter of puppies, and one has gotten out of its cage. Well, that's irresponsible. We're still looking for him, so please be careful. Seriously? How did that happen? She closed the door quickly behind them. I should know, Curious George always has a little minor catastrophe. George had never been to an animal shelter before. Animals of all kinds were being cared for there. George saw bunnies, cats, turtles, and guinea pigs. He even saw a snake. But he didn't see any puppies. George, I need to sign some papers, said the man with the yellow hat. Please stay here and don't be too curious. Just as the man with the yellow hat left the room, George heard barking. Maybe it was the puppies, but where was it coming from? George was curious. He followed the barking noises and found a room full of dogs. There were yellow dogs, spotted dogs, sleek dogs, and fluffy dogs. There were quiet dogs and yappy dogs, and even a dog without a tail. But where were the puppies? Then George saw a little wagging tail, and then another and another. Excuse me, Mommy's tired. I need caffeine. Once George saw the puppies, he could not take his eyes off of them. He had to pet one. Here was a puppy. The puppy liked George. George wanted to hold the puppy, and slowly he opened the door. Oh dear. But before George could even reach the puppy, the mother dog pushed open the door and was off like a shot. George tried to close the door after her, but the puppies were too fast. There was nothing George could do. Puppies were everywhere. Puppies hid under the desk. Puppies barked at the bunnies. One puppy played with a telephone cord, and another climbed on top of a cage to watch the others get into mischief. Soon all the dogs were barking, the cats were meowing, and the bunnies rustled into a corner of their cage. My lands. Oh no, cried the director as she and the man with the yellow hat rushed into the room. Now all the puppies are out. The man with the yellow hat helped the director gather up the puppies and put them safely back in their cage. Soon all the animals settled down and were quiet. except for one, who was still barking. It was the mother dog. And what was she barking at? There was nothing here but the door. There must be something on the other side, thought George. He opened up the door. It was the missing puppy. Everyone was happy to finally find the puppy. The director scooped him up and said, "George, you certainly caused a ruckus. But if you hadn't let the puppies out, we might still be searching for this little one." Heavens. Then she gave the puppies and their mother a snack. "These puppies are now big enough to go live with families who will take care of them," she said. "Do you want to take one home with you, George?" And George did. The end. And then the activities here, so you can do this later. And then there's 5 helpful puppy training tips. 1, be firm and consistent with your puppy. 2, speak loud and clear when giving voice commands. 3, only use one command at a time so your puppy doesn't get confused. 4, limit training sessions to 15 minutes because puppies get bored easily. 5, when your puppy follows commands, make sure you always praise and pet him or her. It's not much different than taking care of a baby, huh? Except I think the training session should be 5 minutes, not 15, because you will have a very short attention span for a little while. For the next couple of years, I'm sure. That was fun. The end.